Hey, Syd!
What?
What are you going to do with that?
I'm going to fry an egg.
Little and Large, the beloved British comedy duo, were a household name for over 2 decades. Syd Little, with his straight man demeanor, and Eddie Large, the chaotic, larger-than-life joker, made audiences laugh with their distinctive style. But behind the long-standing partnership lay a story of struggle, health challenges, and eventual split that few expected. Formation of the duo. The formation of Little and Large was an accident of sorts. The two first crossed paths in the early 60s at a Manchester pub where Syd was performing. At the time, Syd's act involved playing the guitar and singing, but he wasn't captivating the audience. Eddie, who was watching from the crowd, offered to join Syd on stage with his comedy impressions. The spontaneous collaboration was a hit with the audience, and a partnership was born. Reflecting on that fateful night, Eddie once said, "We never planned it, but somehow it worked. People loved the contrast between the two of us." From that moment, their comedic chemistry began to take shape, leading them to pursue a future as a duo. Their early days were marked by performances at pubs and clubs where they honed their routine. They became regulars on the club circuit, performing comedy sketches mixed with Syd's musical interludes. The balance of comedy and music became a signature of their act, allowing them to stand out from other performers of the time. Rise to fame.
In the ultra-competitive world of top-class comedy, the survival of the fittest is the golden rule. Whether or not Syd Little and Eddie Large are fit to take over from Morecambe and Wise has yet to be decided by the public. But one thing is certain. As they approach the first foothills of early middle age, the two of them have arrived to fill the most sought-after spot in the BBC's light entertainment schedules.
As Little and Large continued to perform in clubs across the country, their reputation began to grow. One breakthrough moment came in 1971 when they appeared on the talent show Opportunity Knocks, a platform that had launched the careers of many entertainers. Their performance was an instant success, and they won the competition, earning widespread exposure. This win put them on the radar of television producers, marking the start of their transition from club performers to television stars. As Eddie once remarked about their growing fame, Opportunity Knocks opened the door and we just ran through it. In 1977, they were given their own television show, The Little and Large Show, which quickly became a staple of British Saturday night entertainment. The series was a hit, running for over a decade and attracting millions of viewers during its peak. The appeal of the show lay in the duo's contrasting personalities. Syd, the calm and measured straight man, provided a perfect foil to Eddie's exuberant and often chaotic comedy. Eddie's physical comedy, in particular, was a major draw, with his exaggerated impressions and slapstick humor earning him the affection of audiences. Syd was always the one to keep things grounded, Eddie said in a later interview, while I was the one flying off the handle, keeping the madness going. Their comedy sketches were a blend of slapstick, impersonations, and lighthearted banter, with Eddie frequently interrupting Syd's musical performances with jokes and pranks. Despite the slapdash nature of their routines, there was an undeniable chemistry between them that viewers found endearing. The chemistry carried the show through its initial years, and soon Little and Large became household names in the UK. They were part of the golden era of British variety shows, alongside acts like the Two Ronnies and Morecambe and Wise. At the height of their popularity in the late 70s and early 80s, they were on top of the British comedy scene. Struggles and decline in popularity.
Dylan sings for millions. I sing for free. How come everybody's making it big but me?
I'm Cliff, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you how you can be as big as me.
By the late 80s, the comedy landscape in the UK was undergoing significant changes. Audiences began to favor more contemporary and alternative forms of comedy, like the sharp and irreverent humor seen in shows like The Young Ones and Blackadder. The style of humor that had made Little and Large famous, while they still retained a loyal following, particularly among older audiences, their appeal to the broader public began to wane. This decline in popularity was gradual but noticeable, both in their live performances and on television. Eddie later reflected, "Comedy was changing and we were getting left behind." The pressure to adapt weighed heavily on the duo, and tensions began to build between them. While their on-stage chemistry remained intact, there were reports of disagreements behind the scenes. The stress of trying to maintain their relevance in a rapidly changing entertainment world took a toll on both their professional relationship and their friendship. As Eddie's health began to deteriorate due to heart problems, the strain became even more pronounced. Syd, ever the straight man, tried to hold things together, but Eddie's health and their waning popularity created a difficult working environment. Eddie's wife once remarked, Eddie's health problems added a lot of stress to their partnership. Syd was supportive, but the pressure was always there. The breakup of the duo. As the 90s progressed, it became clear that the end of the Little and Large partnership was approaching. The cancellation of The Little and Large Show in 1991 marked a significant turning point. ITV, which had been their home for over a decade, decided not to renew their contract, signaling the end of an era. Without a platform, the duo found it increasingly difficult to maintain relevance. The abrupt cancellation shocked many longtime fans, but it wasn't entirely unexpected for Syd and Eddie. Syd later commented, "We knew things were changing, but I don't think either of us realized it would end so suddenly." Behind the scenes, personal and professional differences were beginning to emerge more prominently. While they had once thrived on their contrasting personalities, Syd's straight-laced demeanor versus Eddie's wild antics, their differences started to create tension in their working relationship. Eddie's health problems, which had been an ongoing issue, exacerbated the strain between them. After suffering several heart attacks in the mid-90s, Eddie's ability to keep up with the demands of performing became more limited. Though Syd remained supportive, the physical and emotional toll on Eddie began to wear them both down. The decision to end their professional partnership was not made lightly. For years, the duo had been a fixture in British comedy. While Syd sought to continue performing, Eddie's health issues made it impossible. As Eddie once admitted, quote, "We didn't fall out, but the magic wasn't there anymore. We had had our time." Life after the breakup. After they officially parted ways, Syd Little and Eddie Large pursued separate paths, though neither managed to recapture the same level of fame they had enjoyed together. For Syd, the transition to life after Little and Large was a difficult one. He continued to perform, often in pantomimes and small-scale TV appearances, but his career never quite reached the same heights. Syd's straight man persona, so crucial to the success of the duo, struggled to stand alone in the changing comedic landscape. Reflecting on his post-Little and Large years, Syd admitted, "It was hard without Eddie. We'd worked together for so long, and suddenly it was like I was missing half of myself on stage." Eddie Large faced a different challenge. His health issues, particularly his heart problems, became the defining feature of his life in the years that followed. After suffering multiple heart attacks, Eddie underwent a heart transplant in 2003, a procedure that saved his life but left him physically limited. While he made occasional appearances on television and remained a beloved figure in British comedy, his days of performing at the same frenetic pace were over. Eddie remained positive, though, despite his health challenges, often joking in interviews about his heart condition. Quote, "The doctors told me I had the heart of a 21-year-old, he quipped. I just wish they'd given me the rest of the body to go with it." Eddie's illness and death.
It was probably the straw that broke the camel's back, and it was one thing too many for him to fight with his heart the way it was. But he fought to the end.
Eddie Large's health problems, which had plagued him for much of his later life, became more serious. His heart issues, which began with multiple heart attacks in the 80s and 90s, culminated in a life-saving heart transplant in 2003. It gave him a new lease on life, but it also forced him into a quieter existence. But his health continued to decline over the years. The effects of his transplant and the toll of his earlier lifestyle made it difficult for him to maintain the pace of public appearances. In 2020, he was hospitalized after contracting COVID-19. His already weakened heart, combined with the effects of the virus, proved too much for him to overcome. On April 2nd, 2020, Eddie passed away at age 78. The news of his death sent shockwaves through the British entertainment community, with many fans and fellow comedians expressing their sadness and sharing memories of his contributions to comedy. Syd was deeply affected by Eddie's passing, stating in a heartfelt tribute, "He had the biggest heart and made everyone he met feel special. We were partners for so long, and it's hard to believe he's gone. I'll miss him terribly." Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of the duo? Let us know in the comments section below.